what's up you guys, this is Rob from Guy Plays, and today on the rundown, it always pays to play safe when we take a look at our newest Archwing, the Amesha. Now, you all know that I found a deep love and connection for the Itzal, and found it to be the Archwing that really changed the game for me. Well, honestly, I think that the Amesha is going to do the same for a lot of people out there, as it has easily become my second favorite Archwing in game, closely rivaling my attachment to the Itzal. With a slew of defensive abilities, the Amesha provides several protective barriers that allow you to unload at will. From protecting yourself from statuses to tossing your friends a little love, the Amesha's got you covered. Now, you can pick up the Amesha's Blueprint for 15,000 credits in the Tenno Lab of your clan dojo, alongside the rest of its components. Just be aware that it will cost you Nitane, so I hope you stayed on top of keeping your stash nice and hefty. Now, if you haven't, you can always pick it up pre-built along with an Archwing slot and a Catalyst, all for 275 plat. Now, statistically, it's kind of hard to spot what is average and what isn't average due to the fact that we don't have a huge amount of Archwings to gauge from like we do with Warframes. But as it stands, statistically the Amesha is fairly average, with its only notable stats being high base armor and one of the larger power pools in the current roster. This actually synergizes fairly well with Vengeful Wrath's Rage effect and Benevolent Decoy's ability to restore health. Now let's take a look at the way it plays. Its first ability is Watchful Swarm. At max rank, the Amesha deploys small wisps that block incoming fire. Now this is a pretty simple ability, but there are a couple things to note. First off, this blocks any fire that would strike you, from bullets to projectiles to lasers to rockets. One drone equals one hit blocked. Any rockets detonated, even those that explode within your vicinity, will deal no damage. In addition, this is also castable on your teammates at what seems to be like an infinite range. The only challenge with that is at longer ranges, lining up your reticule with a tiny target can be a bit of a pain. Next up is Benevolent Decoy. Now this is definitely one of the Amesha's go-to abilities. At max rank, it creates an 80-meter bubble for 25 seconds with a decoy in the center. All enemy fire that passes through the bubble feeds the decoy, which amplifies the incoming damage by 1.5 times and converts it into a 100-meter healing wave that pulses every second. Now as always, there are a couple things to note. First off, the smaller bubble at the center acts just like Loki's decoy and is considered terrain, which basically means that you can't shoot through it, and that enemy rockets that detonate on it will deal splash damage to you if you're close enough. So you may want to keep your distance from the small balls. However, also note that the healing pulse is actually a bit larger than the outer sphere, so I definitely make sure to hug the big balls in order to ensure you're getting hit with each wave. And lastly, you can only have 3 instances of Benevolent Decoy up at any given time, so while they are fantastic, make sure you're putting your balls where they matter the most. Moving along, we've got ourselves Warding Grace, which is a toggle that at max rank, when switched on, will make you and all allies within a 40-meter range immune to all status effects and slow down enemies by 50%. Now, while this ability is a bit energy intensive to maintain, with a primed morphic transformer for power strength and a maxed energy amplifier for additional range, you're looking at a 640-meter 77.5% slow and immunity to annoying blast and slash procs. While it's not the fanciest ability on the block, and its energy effect is almost completely lacking, it can offer a lot of protection when you and your mates find yourself in the middle of a clusterfuck. Now, the Amesha's last and final ability is Vengeful Rush, and let me tell you, this is fucking fantastic. It's basically a 400-meter group rage buff for Archwing that turns any incoming damage taken, whether it's shielding or HP based, into energy. At max rank, the percentage is set at 100, but this can be boosted by power strength. Also note that it grants you and all allies affected a 10% boost to power range, duration, and strength. None of which is affected by mods, but you know, no one's gonna complain about an extra inch. Now clearly, this is amazing, as it can fuel any of your restorative abilities, allowing you to create save points, status immunity, and straight up damage blocking when you yourself are being attacked. So all in all, I think the Amesha is a triumph, not only visually, but also mechanically. Its ultimate places it in a very unique position as a support Archwing that thrives when directly under fire. The Amesha can literally shut down enemy offense, using Watchful Swarm to completely negate damage, or Warding Grace to impede an incoming enemy fleet. Benevolent Decoy also acts as the Amesha's undeniable bread and butter, giving the ability to create a massive healing beacon to struggling teammates and lay down safe revival zones if an ally should happen to go down. Now honestly, this is the part where I would insert something that I didn't really like about the Archwing. However, I think it's pretty fucking solid. And aside from long-range ally targeting with Watchful Swarm being a bit difficult, and Warding Grace's lack of an energy effect to remind me that I've still got it toggled on, I would really be grasping at straws to find something wrong. It's great for group support, but it's still a powerhouse when solo, providing that you've got some decent weapons. Because let's face it, it can keep you up for as long as you want, but if you're packing something that doesn't quite measure up, absolutely no one will be going down anytime soon. And that is no fun at all. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Rundown. If you haven't caught it, be sure to catch my previous episode on my top 3 game-changing arcanes, which also happen to apply in Archwing combat as long as you've got that frame equipped, as well as my upcoming rundown on Aspen and Rowan, my sweet little Kavats. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I asked you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, don't forget to hug the big balls, here at A Gay Guy Plays. And yes, I am very aware that they look more like a pair of boobs than they do a pair of balls. However, this is A Gay Guy Plays, so I will choose to ignore this part of the female anatomy, just like I do the rest of it. Vagina? Isn't that somewhere out in the Pacific Northwest? I hear they make really good crab cakes out there.